Hi, babe.
Hi, babe.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm Jessica.
And welcome to episode 1 of A Court of Books and Babes.
A podcast where two best friends review, react to, and rate our, and soon to be your, favorite fantasy books.
It has arrived. The time has come.
We're here despite many challenges and technical difficulties.
Oh, so many.
The joke that we've been saying is that we are haunted, and we have named our ghost the Babadook a la Babadook, but obviously on brand. I can't believe it's here. I'm so excited.
I know. It feels like forever because it has been since August that we have been trying to get episode 1 done. Who knew video could be so hard?
Yeah, and a little bit of a challenge. And time stamping, it is now middle of September. I mean, is this the 7th time that we've tried to?
Yes. Oh, I know.
That's so disheartening.
The struggle is real. But we're here and we're ready to get talking.
We are here and we're so excited.
Hey babes, friendly neighborhood podcast avatar here. While Jamie and Jessica feel the podcast is haunted, they are not, in fact, talking to ghosts, but looking at their notes out of frame. It's their first episode, so be nice.
So I feel like we could talk about this stuff for hours, but maybe before we get going, we could just talk a little bit about the inspiration for the pod.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I first read ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, as known in the fandom, in May of 2025, so May of, I think, 2024. And pretty immediately reached out to Jamie and said, you must read this book. And how long did it take you to get through the book?
Like maybe a handful of days. But it took me 6 months to be convinced to actually read it. I was like, really, Faye? Really?
Yeah.
Smut? I mean, I don't know. I have standards.
And now we have no standards.
It is the only type of book I'll read.
You're right. I know.
Just
Every time I talk to somebody, I'm like, hey, would you like to join a cult? Because I'm in one and I think you'd have a really good time.
Yeah. I mean, I joined, signed my name in blood.
Here
we are.
I think you might be the cult leader at this point.
I've rallied a few people. Or what do you call it? Like, recruited. I've recruited a few people.
Shall we?
Before we dive into today's show, listen to this important disclaimer. We'll be focusing on chapters 1 through 6 today, but may have spoilers from the entire Maasverse and the rest of the ACOTAR series.
This podcast has all of our favorite R words: romance, racey, risque, and, of course, RHYSAND. As such, it is rated R. Listen accordingly.
Are we ready?
Born ready. We will be kicking off every episode with Babes Between the Lines,
Where we read what's written, obsess over what isn't,
and dig past the dialogue so you don't miss the magic, the motives, or the mistakes. Our story opens in a bleak setting. It's the dead of winter, bitterly cold, with snow blanketing the woods where our heroine waits with deadly, desperate patience. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our girl, curse breaker, love triangle maker, Feyre. Ta-da! Before we get into it, when you first read ACOTAR, how did you pronounce Feyre?
Fair?
Yeah, I think I said Feyre. And it's such a struggle in fantasy books because they constantly are throwing these jumble of like vowels and consonants.
That make no sense.
No, I feel like I'm having a stroke every time I try.
And I read like by sounding out words. Like I'm a phonetic reader and I'm like, some of these just like no go.
It's typical. Thankfully, SJM in this book at the beginning makes it really clear how to say Feyre's name within the first few chapters. But the first time I saw it on the page, I think I was definitely like, okay, we're going a la Miss Fawcett. I don't hate it. Feyre, we learn, has ventured deeper into the woods than she's ever gone before to try and find something to hunt for her family. Having just finished their last reserves, the family, impoverished and living for the past 8 years in essentially a hut, is on the brink of starvation. And Feyre is the only one with the skills to support them. For the last few years, she has taught herself to become a hunter in order to put food on her family's table. This has always sat weird with me. It's like that idea that becoming a morning person when you have kids is like being a runner because a bear is chasing you. Like, it's not really a choice. Feyre at heart is an artist, not a hunter. Even in this opening chapter, when she's describing how cold and hard her world is, there's a moment where she's looking at the snow and she describes an inner quieting as she watches the swirling flakes. She loves beauty. She has the soul of a painter. But her sisters and her father, who we're going to talk about more soon, don't worry, they'll get their comeuppance on this podcast. They refuse in various ways to step up and really survive. As Feyre sits perched on a tree branch in the snow, watching and waiting, we start to get our first introduction to the world that this series takes place in. Feyre mentions feeling fearful of the nearby fairylands called Prythian, which border the human lands. She describes any mortal who might enter Prythian as having a, quote, death wish. The fear of the fairylands and fairies in general is something we'll learn has been ingrained in all of the humans of this world.
Is it a Death Wish show? Because I think I'd give my left eye to go to Prythian.
Okay, you give your left, I'll give my right. At least between the two of us, we'll have like one pair of eyes. Maybe, a pair of... Yeah, exactly. As Feyre watches for any potential prey, she describes rumors floating through her village of, quote, strange folks spotted in the area, tall and eerie and deadly. This is our first description of fairies, and it comes secondhand to Feyre, who at this point has never met one, though increasingly she's hearing talk of distant villages and towns that have faced attacks from the Fae and have been left decimated. This is also where we get our first mention of, drum roll please, sex. That's right, folks. If you didn't know before, you might be starting to wonder now. ACOTAR is firmly a romantasy series, with different books leaning more into the fantasy and adventure, and then others more into the spice. Feyre recalls having sex with Isaac Hale, a boy in her village, describing it as, quote, hungry and empty, and sometimes cruel, but never lovely.
Oh.
Yeah. It's with this background noise in her head that Feyre hunts hunger, fear, and an undeniable longing for beauty, and sees a deer. But as Feyre draws her bow and knocks an arrow, she realizes that she's not the only hunter in the woods that day. A pair of gold eyes glow from the face of an unnaturally gigantic wolf, also watching the deer. Feyre is suddenly gripped with the thought that this massive creature isn't just any wolf, but could be a wolf from Prythian. Possibly even somehow a fairy in disguise. She weighs her options. She has an ash arrow that she's heard could take down a fairy who otherwise are supposed to be near mortal, but this is hearsay once more. On one hand, if she shoots the wolf with her arrow and it doesn't work, or if the arrow is a fake, which she can't be sure that it isn't, then the wolf could survive the shot and kill her. As well, what if he isn't alone? On the other hand, if she doesn't shoot the wolf and it attacks the deer, she'll miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime kill for her family. Our girl is in a catch-22. As she contemplates shooting the wolf, wondering if it's a fairy, Feyre thinks about how she'd be happy to kill one, considering all they've done to the mortals. At this point, as readers, we're still pretty in the dark about what this all entails, but we're definitely starting to get the picture. Like, things are not...
Fae bad.
Yeah, fae bad.
Fae be bad.
It is not all fam up in the clear. When the wolf lunges for the deer, Feyre makes up her mind in an instant and fires her arrow into his side. As the arrow finds its mark, quote, the ground itself shudders. I love this description,
it's
right?
so good.
Especially on a reread, you know the power of what's happening. She fires a second arrow straight through his eye, just to be safe, and thank you, Feyre. I love a good QAQC. After the wolf dies, reassuring Feyre that it was just a wolf after all, she decides to skin the wolf and take his felt and take the deer for meat, which has since died from the wolf's initial attack. Okay, did you know that this is our first mention of RHYSAND? It's not actually in this chapter, but in a later flashback where she describes a shadow with her in the woods in the moment before she shoots the wolf, watching and waiting for her to fire her arrow, as she and confirms that this is Reese.
It's so good. I didn't know this when I read it the first time and didn't clock it, but now that we know and we've all followed TikTok and Instagram and all the things that flood your feed once you've read these books.
Every move SJM like makes, I feel like she sneezes in London and the fandom is like, the next book. Literally. I love it. I love that on a reread. Feyre makes her way home, nearly buckling under the weight of the deer and pelt and her own hunger. As she walks up to their house, which, like, that's a generous term for what they live in.
Love it.
Her eyes pass over the wards her father once traded some woodworking for. Supposedly, these would protect them from the fairies.
Okay. But what's the opposite of this? Because I want that.
You want to, like, draw in the fae. You want,
Yes.
like, high fae
Yes.
catnap. I love
Yes.
that. Yes.
Patented, package it, sell it in stores. That's what I want.
She goes inside and we officially meet the rest of Feyre's family. There is her father, a once merchant, now wood carver. You know, an interesting update to the LinkedIn. And her two older sisters, Elaine and Nesta. Nesta is described as being, quote, born with a sneer on her face, while Elaine, quote, had never had it occur to her that she was capable of getting her hands dirty.
Oh, I struggle with Elaine.
I
From the word go.
understand. Yeah, but I'm hoping for a redemption arc.
I mean, Nesta relatable. Okay. Like, yeah, resting bitch face is a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not just resting bitch face, constant bitch face.
Yeah.
A perma bitch face. This is also where we start to get a little more of a physical description of Feyre, besides being, essentially a walking skeleton. She, along with her two older sisters, both have gold brown hair, which, can I just say, as a brunette, yes, I love my blonde bestie babe here, but I am yearning, and I have been yearning for a brunette heroine. Thank you.
Okay. And we do get a blonde, like, main character in Throne of Glass.
That's
so,
true. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that Bryce is it. Well, you actually haven't read Crescent.
No, I haven't. So no spoilers for that one.
Yeah. Redhead. I will say redhead, but we've got, there we go, the Sacred Trilogy.
Lucia crossover.
Her family immediately hones in on the dead deer and wolf pelt, ignoring. I will stop, but we will wait for that.
Avatar here again. This is one of about 100 technical glitches Jamie and Jessica experienced while recording this episode for the 7th time. If they edited out every single one, this pod would never launch. Enjoy the BTS from these technically challenged millennials, aka walking crypt keepers.
So
That's
you'll
okay.
just restart that.
Yeah, I'll go for her family. It's going well. Shh, baby dog. Shh. We offer you wine.
Because my screen went off on my phone. A good cat.
I have a plug-in.
No, it's
Press
like
any
it just went to
button
sleep.
except for the power button.
Do not press the power.
Do not pass go.
Do not collect $200.
$200.
Okay.
Honey, just played Monopoly with my son.
You know what would be
Over.
good? Monopoly.
An
from
ACOTAR Monopoly. Yeah. TM.
Yeah. We should invent it.
We should.
We should invent an ACOTAR board.
I think there is one.
Oh, does it mean on your remote? For your TV?
Maybe.
I don't speak tech, so.
Ah, it was the TV. It wasn't the phone. All right.
Look at our logo.
Look at that. We
So-
figured
Look
it.
at those hands.
They have 4 fingers.
They sure do.
Thanks, AI. We're cute. We're quirky.
Perfection. I just
We're
want
awake
this to be
at 10 p.m. on a Friday. Our 24-year-old selves will be like,
Shame.
talking about fairies fucking and being like, we're so tired. Locked up already.
And welcome back to your regularly scheduled programming, folks.
Her family immediately hones in on the dead deer and wolf pelt, ignoring the blood-covering Feyre and asking how quickly she'll be able to prepare the meat. Their disregard for their sister's safety and hard work is, in a word, appalling.
Disgusting.
Yes.
Oh.
Her father even describes Feyre's kill as what enough. A phrase that unintentionally, hopefully, cuts out all of the work and danger Feyre has put herself through. Side note, 100% if Feyre had been a man, they wouldn't have credited her kill as what luck.
No, there would have been fist bumps and high fives and gross. Oh,
Yeah.
totally. The patriarchy is alive and well in Perithian, folks.
Oh my god, we can't escape that. Her father stretches his leg out by the fire, something he's prone to do when the wounded limb is bothering him. A creditor had. This is the ACOTAR version of the man cold. That's Feyre's dad and his leg.
Yes, and I'm just like raging because when men are sick, I just struggle.
They're never truly ill.
No.
I agree. A creditor had burst into their house years ago when the family had started to fall in hard times and beat him while Feyre begged and screamed for them to stop. Notably, we learn that she was the only one to stay and try and defend him while her older sisters fled to their rooms.
Shocker.
When the creditors leave, the family takes the last of their money to get a healer for their father, but he never really recovered and never really has tried to help raise his family from the depths that they've now fallen to. The older sisters instantly start bickering over who needs the money the wolf pelt will fetch more. Nesta snarling, Elaine whining, and if that doesn't sum them up, I don't know.
Exactly.
What does.
I cannot.
When her father looks at the hide and admonishes her on the risk that she took in getting it, Feyre bites back a flurry of angry words, thinking, quote, "Were it not for me, we would starve. Were it not for me, we'd be dead." All she says instead is, "I had no other choice."
Ugh. My tongue's bleeding here. Like, God,
I know.
I just want to, like, not just give them a tongue lashing, but like punch them.
A physical latching?
Actually. Exactly.
Yeah, bend over, not in the fun way. Feyre walks to the one bedroom in the house with a large iron bed in it that she and her sisters share. The ornate bed is the last vestige of her family's former wealth, and it was the bed in which she and her sisters were all born, and also the one in which her mother died. The room also houses one sagging dresser, the infamous dresser. IKEA, can we sell this? This actually would be great. Okay, TM. Covered in different scenes painted by Feyre in an attempt to add some color and beauty into their desperate gray life. Each sister had a different drawer with a different vignette. Flowers for Elaine, flames for Nesta, and stars for Feyre. I'm screaming.
I'm hurrying.
1 minute later, imagine that with a French accent.
You're gonna like.
Blood and ash.
Okay,
Like
like
her
her
inner
inner gonna
monologue.
start tonight, but I'm like, I'm fucking
Her inner monologue is like, okay, maybe a bit much at sometimes. It annoyed Caitlin. But like, dirty bird.
I have a pretty high tolerance for
Also, why are they always all virgins?
Oh, yeah.
Even like with women writing, you're like, why?
And they're so skinny, but they're not even trying to be skinny.
Pause. This angelic voice you hear is Jessica's little sister, Allie, their production assistant, content creator, and resident Gen Z, tasked with adding a small level of cool to the show. More from her later.
And
They're
they're
so
athletic.
They're perfect. They have
the right
huge,
places.
they have giant boobs.
Yeah.
But they can count.
You know what?
Yeah.
Poppy, the main character in this series, is like voluptuous. Like she's
Yeah.
like
Like Kirby.
thick.
Love it.
Never mind. I was going to say, isn't Nesta is described as being quite curvy when she, like when she's like not starving? I think, yeah, Cassian's obsessed with her boobs. Cassian's, wait. Never mind. As I was about to say something, I was like, my sister probably would
Yeah, there's
appreciate.
that. Maybe.
I mean, everyone has sex, okay?
That's
It's
right.
just like natural function of the human body.
That's right. Like I say, my kid, everybody poops, everybody fucks.
Take it easy, Karen. Jessica does not actually say this to her kids.
Okay, you can say
That's why I'm getting a picture.
you need to poop.
Good? Good.
Okay,
Right?
no
Okay.
pooping on the podcast. No talk of that. That
Just
was yuck.
fucking.
Yes.
No poop, just fuck. That evening, they eat some of the deer, and as Feyre licks every last drop from her fork, her mind turns to memories of her mother, quote, imperious and cold with her children, joyous and dazzling among the peerage who frequented our former estate, doting on my father, the one person whom she truly loved and respected. As she sifts through her memories, Feyre recalls the promise her mother made her vow as she lay on her deathbed, quote, stay together and look after them. This haunts Feyre now and will continue to do so as her life's journey takes an unexpected, to say the least, twist. Not only does it hold power over her as a literal deathbed vow, but we learn that mortals in this world hold promises with incredible importance. Quote, in our miserable human world, shielded only by the promise made by the High Fae 5 centuries ago, a world where we'd forgotten the names of our gods, a promise was law. A promise was currency. A promise was your bond.
Okay, pause.
Okay.
This bed, like, I cannot.
The
amount
bed
of,
they
like,
share.
Fluids that would be in this bed is nasty. Like,
Three
surely they
babies.
changed the mattress.
3 babies and a dead mom.
Yes.
No, right.
Lots of fucking.
Cuddle up.
Gross.
Like,
It's all I can think about. I'm like, don't they have like a bed line?
I
Like, I don't know.
Can we have a water protecting?
They can't afford food, but like, do they have a mattress
How are we
cover?
protecting a mattress
Oh.
here? Nesta launches into a story about a potential marriage proposal from the local woodcutter's son. Feyre butts in, telling Nesta that she isn't allowed to marry him. Our Feyre is a bit of a busybody. Feyre tells Nesta that the woodcutter's son is barely better off than their own family, that they can't afford a dowry, and that she would be just another mouth to feed to them. When Nesta declares that they're in love, Feyre says, love won't feed a hungry belly. This is the first of many sparring matches between Nesta and Feyre. Having 3 sisters myself, I know how vicious sisters can be to one another, especially in your teenage years. But I also know that fierce anger bellies an even fiercer love that can withstand just about anything. All of the sisters will have impressive growth over the coming books, but Nesta and Feyre's relationship in particular will evolve and mature and deepen in a way that really resonated with me.
After they go through some shit.
That's life, right? Like,
You know, but like,
the good stuff is after the
they
bad
hate
stuff.
each other.
Yeah, they do.
I hate.
Sure. I want to take a moment to say that SJM does a great job in just these first few opening pages of really laying the context and background of the Archeron family. There's not only a ton of family history here, but an entire world and accompanying lore that we need to get familiar with in order for this story to really resonate. I think she does a great job.
Yep, I agree.
The next day is market day, and Feyre, Nesta, and Elaine make their way into the nearby village, all 3 ignoring one another. Charming. That's a great walk. But each determined to try and benefit from the spoils of Feyre's kill. As they make their way, they are stopped by the Children of the Blessed, a cult-like group of, quote, fanatic fools who still worship the High Fae.
I mean, I worship them, so how foolish can they be?
It's like, where do I pay my cult dues?
Yeah.
Because
I need some bangles too.
oh, just the bangles.
The bangles.
There's
Like they call the high fae.
That's right. But since again, you're just trying to entice them. You're like, hello.
Yes.
I'm here. In years past, the High Fae had ruled over mankind with a cruel, clenched iron fist, using humans as slaves for centuries before a brutal, bloody war resulted in a wall that separated the High Fae and fairies and the humans. As we travel deeper into this world, we learn more about the shared history of mortals, the Fae, and the High Fae, and how the tragic and painful past that they have has shaped an incredibly complex present. One of the Children of the Blessed asks if the girls have a moment to speak with them about the High Fae, and the girls, we'll say they decline.
It's like the same as having solicitor and just closing the door in their face.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. As Feyre is trying to decide who she should target at the market to try and sell her pelt to, she notices a stranger. Judging by her dress, her weaponry, and overall appearance, Feyre believes her to be a mercenary. She notes the woman has unusual eyes, quote, such interesting eyes, not just one shade of black, but many, with hints of brown that glimmered amongst the shadows. The stranger offers to buy the pelt and overpays. Feyre is taken aback for the generous sum, saying she doesn't want pity. This says so much about our heroine. She is literally starving, but would rather go hungry than be pitied. Eventually, Feyre agrees, watching her sisters sweep closer as she pockets the coin, quote, like vultures. The stranger warns Feyre to stay out of the woods, saying she's heard tales of fae slipping through a hole in the wall. We don't know it yet, but this wall is going to play a huge role in the story and the world moving forward. Feyre asks if the mercenary thinks that the High Fae are going to attack, and in this question we hear the echoes of trauma of the violent history between mortals and the Fae. The mercenary says she isn't sure, but that some of the nobles are already packing up their wealth and leaving for distant lands. Eventually, Feyre leaves the mercenary, and she and her sisters go to depart the market. Feyre sees Isaac Hale, her current lover. She describes him as having a sort of darkness inside of him which drew them to one another. I'm 99% sure that SJM is using this language just to underline how dark and desperate things are, not only with the Archeron family, but with the village in its entirety. But I can't help but notice the word darkness. Obviously, knowing what we know on a reread about RHYSAND and the Night Court, I wonder if Feyre has always been attracted to this darker quality in people and particularly lovers.
I mean, same girlfriend.
Same. Feyre gives her sisters some money, and she and Isaac go to meet at the old barn. That sounds like a euphemism.
For like a roll in the hay. I mean, when you think about it, it's like gross, like little bits poking, sorry Isaac, and leave you feeling like itchy or kind of dirty, like there's things and places you don't want. It's, you know, she says it's never lovely, and like maybe this is why.
Everything
She's just fucking in the barn. Like, what is happening?
That whole thing, just double speak. I love it. Like, poor Isaac.
Poor Isaac.
Later that night, as the older sisters are comparing what they bought from the market with the money Feyre gave them, and Feyre is sitting next to her father, Feyre decides it's time to once again speak with Nesta about her potential engagement to Thomas. But before she can broach the subject, a deafening roar thunders throughout the cabin.
This chapter is where the story really takes off. Okay, first turn into fate drama, literally everything changes for Feyre. It's the moment the hunter becomes the hunted, and our cozy cottagecore dystopia turns into an actual magical thriller. Finally. Okay, let's talk about the moment, that single moment, split-second decision that changed everything for Feyre. I mean, she tells herself, it's just a wolf, probably, and then lets it fly. Suddenly, she's not just hunting dinner, she's been added to the guest list for a cursed fairy court, and bringing her emotional baggage with her. Honestly, I love reading about this choice. The one choice that maybe it's a fae, maybe it's not, and then boom, you're being dragged across the wall by a magical beast who you aren't even sure will let you live or die.
Right? Like, it's like, congratulations! You shot the wrong wolf, and now you're living in a fantasy Airbnb with consequences.
Oh, it's so classic SJM. That one choice spirals into a million little threads. Fates, bargains, curse, love stories, enemy to lovers, situationships. But we don't get there yet. I mean, for a little while. All from one shot, a single choice that echoes throughout the entire series. I think that's what strikes a chord with so many readers. Like, we all have these moments in our lives when we're faced with a decision that will take us down one way or another. And it's like, we weigh both options, wondering what the right decision is. Not so relatable as having to make that decision in under a minute.
Or like a giant monster in front of you being like, so, like, are we doing this or what?
Feyre has about 0.2 seconds to enjoy her hard-earned deer meat before beast mode activated. A monstrous beast crashes into the cabin, like the Kool-Aid man in a fur coat. Oh yeah! You killed my friend, now come with me or die.
That is the best Tamlin description. Like, Kool-Aid man in fur coat. Like, I'm sorry. Yes, him.
it lives rent-free in my mind, for sure. Feyre, to her credit, stands her ground, and she's like, I'm the only one that cares about this family, as per usual. But also, our girl is terrified.
Yeah.
Understandably, there's a very angry beast demanding blood retribution. Like, how is she supposed to know he was a wolf, fae, something? He didn't have a name tag or anything.
He didn't introduce himself. Like,
No.
rude.
Exactly. Modern day equivalent, you hit a raccoon on the road. Next morning, Chris Hemsworth, in full Thor armor, breaks into your house demanding reparations. On that note, how do we feel about Chris Hemsworth for Tam Dam?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Although I like more your most recent fantast of Austin Butler as RHYSAND.
Okay, so this came because he read Taylor Swift's lyrics to the song Red, and I was instantly swooning. And like,
Perfection.
now it's just a thirst trap of Austin Butler on Instagram.
Our four husbands are like, who's this Austin character? Never mind. It's for work.
Yeah. It's for the podcast.
So this guy half dressed is for work. Yes. Yes. Anyways.
Throughout this chapter, there are several instances to show how willing Feyre is to selflessly take whatever ferocious, fluffy fairy is going to dish out, and consciously or subconsciously, as you said, she's deemed herself her family's protector. But in my opinion, it's more than that, and we'll see time after time Feyre stepping in to protect those she loves, no matter what the cost is to herself, mentally or physically. I mean, it's woven into her very being. And eventually, when we finally meet her equal, aka mate, and insert a swoon, we come to realize like how much of that they have in common.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree though that the real villain here is her family's complete lack of reaction, just standing there like crazy what they were having.
Oh, too bad.
Like, hello, your sister is being threatened to be dragged off into the woods by a murderous lion, and you just blink.
What?
Like once if you're okay, twice if you're not. Like, frick this family. Oh, Pantafera, she begs and pleads with the beast to quote, "Do it outside," I whispered, my voice trembling. Not here, not where my family would have to wash away the blood and gore. This is just like, she's standing like a human shield between this beast and her family, and she's like, oh no. If he kills me, what a mess that will leave for my sisters, who have literally never cleaned anything in their life.
Including probably that mattress.
Oh, the mattress. It's just like, like it needs a steam clean. I don't know.
It needs to be burned.
Ugh. Okay, I get the feeling that this would be the first stitch of work that her two brat sisters ever had to do. And second, our heroine really does see herself as only valuable for what she can give and not for who she is. Like, do we think this is partially why she's susceptible to Tamlin's charm? And I use like charm in air quotes, as in like your hair is clean. But like the smallest gestures of kindness from him, as they start to kind of come faster in the next few chapters, like, is it easier for him to manipulate her because of that? Like, she's a bit kind of, you know, like falls victim to it because she doesn't have anyone like ever be nice to her.
Yes, I definitely think so.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'll even liken it back to when I had a baby 8 months ago, and in those first few weeks when you are so sleep deprived, if you get like a 3 or oh my god, a 4-hour stretch, you're like, heaven, heaven, heaven. Versus before the baby, if you slept 4 hours and then were interrupted and woken up for an hour, you'd be like, this fucking night I'm so exhausted, and you'd be a monster, right? So yes,
Yeah.
I think that's it, like absolutely it is like her happiness is in a contextual scale right now, and the bar is not just like low, like it's not even on the ground, it's like
underground.
it's underground.
They dug a hole
Yes,
at the bar,
absolutely.
covered it up.
100%.
So the last thing I wanted to touch on here is as she's being like drug off to God knows where with no uncertainty or certainty of if she'll see her family again, she never falters in her caretaker duties. She spends her last moments like listing all these things of like, oh yeah, don't forget this, and you know, if you need that, ask this person, and here's some food, and here's the rest of the money, and here's how you cook this. Like, oh, the list, I can't.
Save the casserole in the fridge. $3.25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Like It's truly pathetic, and I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, I agree.
And then her final words to our dear Nesta is, whatever you do, don't marry Thomas Mandry. Bruises are harder to conceal than poverty.
Woof.
Exactly. Ugh. Like, that's just, I mean, with that heartfelt sentiment, her family says absolutely nothing.
Nada.
Which, to be honest, tracks. Ugh, but still makes my heart feel really heavy.
Yeah.
This is so relatable, like waiting for the people you love or someone you really care about to like say something to you that you need or fight for you or do, anything. And then you just feel really, kind of like you got punched in the gut because they aren't willing to step up. Especially given that she's just 19 years old. For sure, she is mature for her age, but I mean, come on, do you remember being 19?
Oh God, I wish I didn't.
The way everything felt insurmountable, like your sense of worthlessness or unworthiness sends you into like a spiral, and then you just don't feel like you can pull yourself out. And I mean, you really lean on your family, your friends, and honestly, to this point, Feyre has no friends. So
I know, I never clocked that.
I know she has not one friend. She has a pathetic lover and a like horrendous family. I don't know. It makes it even sadder.
Yeah, you're right.
It's no wonder our girl is in for like some seriously questionable choices. So, our beloved Feyre is thrown onto a horse and taken across the wall into Perithian. She's not exactly thrilled, but also not immediately murdered, so that's always a plus.
Things are looking up.
Yeah. Crossing the wall isn't about just geography, babes. It's about shedding an identity. Feyre leaves behind the version of herself that survives day to day and is stepping into something mythic. Whether she wants to or not, this chapter is the true beginning of her transformation arc. I mean, do you agree?
Yes, I love this. The idea of the wall as like a metaphor and that there is this like, there was then and there is now and there is no going back.
Totally. Literally and metaphorically, this is Feyre's first step into a new world. She crosses from human survival to magical consequence. This is the doorway fate open for her, and although it's snarling, furry, and really quite angry, this is where we see Feyre really continue to make seemingly impossible choices for the greater good. And whether that is for her family, Tamlin, or eventually all of Perithian, more than once, SJM really sets a strong foundation for us to understand her and her choices as we continue throughout the series.
Yeah, I agree.
We're kind of building.
Yeah, we're understanding like her schema and her baggage, which then informs decisions, which without that understanding, you'd be like, girl, what?
Yeah, like it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
I totally agree. The journey to the Spring Court has heavy underworld vibes. I mean, she's not going to meet Hades there, but there are a few like devils in disguise. As Feyre arrives after 2 days of being in a magical slumber / drug fairy coma at a sprawling decadent manor, the castle has secrets and the vibe is off. The architecture is chef's kiss and screams old money. Gorgeous gardens, magical food, a full staff. Like, if you're going to be a hostage anywhere, in my mind, this is the deluxe penthouse suite.
Oh no, I'm here. Here, take my arms. Oh no, they're bound. Oh no, I'm in your house. Oh no.
Feyre is suspicious, annoyed, starving, and slightly curious if this beastman has dimples. And Tam Bam, her captor, is trying to do this weird mix of like menace and manners. Like, sure, I abducted you, but would you care for a 3-course meal? Feyre's told she's not a prisoner, but also she can't leave. So basically, this is a very glamorous hostage situation. Can we take a second to acknowledge Tamlin's idea of hospitality is, you're welcome to stay forever in my giant manor, where everyone's wearing masks because of reasons. And also, dinner's at 8.
Sounds great. I'll be there.
Okay, this closer gave me goosebumps on a reread. I spied out. Do we need to?
I feel like
She has her ball. She does this every night.
Yeah, we have heard. Isn't this her pink spring or something?
No, that's Avie. Avie's just like Mo. That's Momo with the ball.
Okay, so that was Avie with Momo.
Sounds like she's suffering.
And Mixie.
She has like a squeak.
And that's the social club.
Okay. So this closer gave me goosebumps on a reread. quote, I spied a hedge-bordered metal gate ahead. My prison or my salvation. I couldn't decide which. Whether I wanted to or not, my horse followed after him. Like, oh my God, she could not be more on point with her thoughts here. It will be both horrifying and beautiful, suffocating and liberating, and babes, we're just getting started. Okay, we're entering the last chapter of this episode. We kick it off with Feyre and our first introduction to the spring court. Lush, green, and grand. Quote, so much color, so much sunlight, and movement and texture. I could hardly drink it up fast enough. Ugh. What a stark contrast to our intro into Feyre's village. Bleak, gray, and honestly downright depressing. Yeah. As she moves closer to the manor, she describes it as empty, silent, hushed, and sleeping. But what could it be? This is such beautiful language and sets the stage for what is later revealed as the Blight.
Da, da, da.
Exactly. Magic has been subdued, although it's still present. It is just a whisper of what it could be. I don't know about you, but on a reread, this was an obvious nod to both our main gal and Big Bad Beast's current emotional mental states.
Oh, I love that. Like repressed. 100%.
As she gets closer and closer, her inner dialogue is so conflicted. Run, don't run. She makes mental notes and lists the pros and cons of everything, taking inventory of supplies, what she'd need to escape. I mean, she's in survival mode, one foot in front of the other. Logistically, she reasons she needs food before she can even think of escaping.
Look, I love a girl with a list.
Yeah.
I am vibing.
She's got a backup plan and plan B, C, D.
Yeah,
It's
again,
good.
QAQC.
Yeah.
Eldest daughters, we approve.
As we enter the dining room, there is a table piled high with food and a seemingly endless supply of wine. Feyre remembers, quote, you never drink their wine, never eat their food, ever, unless you wanted to wind up enslaved to them mind and soul. I don't want to say that the entirety of Perithian could have heeded this advice, but more to come on that a little later. Hint, her name starts with an A. But what's this? Poof! Our beast transforms into a 10 out of 10 babe. And Feyre comes to realize he isn't just a fairy, he's a freaking high fae. Blonde hair, strong jaw, beautiful. Enter a new high fae into the chat. He is a red-haired, one-eyed wonder, giving serious sass and sarcasm with every comment. This new guy holds nothing back, opening with, quote, is Andres dead then? I mean, someone had to say it.
I love this. When I was first reading and his character, who we're going to learn in a moment who he is, I was like, oh, hello, sir. Who are you, you saucy little minx?
Poor fox. As they take a trip down memory lane, trying to understand how a mere mortal girl could kill a Fae warrior, the red-haired Fae addresses Feyre for the first time. Quote, did you enjoy killing my friend, human? Did you hesitate, or was it the hate in your heart riding you too hard to consider sparing him? He doesn't want an answer. He just continues the conversation with the blonde one, and finally we get his name, Lucian. After getting his hand slapped for questionable manners, Lucian pays Feyre a compliment. And although it's covered in contempt, his reference to her eyes like stars made me think back to the painting on her dresser drawer. And we all know where that kind of goes, to some delicious foreshadowing. I mean, if you know, you know. Now walks in Alice to give her spring court download that Feyre didn't ask for, but she desperately needs. But who is this brutally honest and fiercely protective fairy? We find out more about her in the later chapters, and my heart warms, is all I can say. I adore Alice. Keep your mouth shut and ears open provides Feyre all the reassurance she needs that she should hightail it the fuck out of here.
Well, that and her visceral reaction, to say the least, to the dress laid out before her. Feyre's having none of it. She needs to be dressed running for her life, not for tea with the queen.
Our girl is goal-oriented, and there is no way she's giving up on escape. And she is also not wearing that gown. Side note, I think we can all commiserate with Feyre getting ready for dinner with a virtual stranger, also known as the first date. Ugh. I mean, the painstaking efforts we babes go to get ready, the plucking, the shaving, the prepping, the primping. All I have to say is like, same girl, same. He is not even worth the trouble.
No.
Painstaking. Okay, so in these next few pages, we get a rare moment of Feyre not just surviving, but actually remembering. softly, longingly. It's giving character development with a side of emotional whiplash.
Like, out of nowhere, Feyre's in her room, probably trying to ignore how weirdly quiet this massive estate is. And she has this sudden memory of her father.
It's so bittersweet because this moment, it's not about survival or responsibility or even trauma. It's about love. Feyre remembers her father before the injury, before the silence, before everything collapsed. The man who tried, who saw her.
That's what makes it hit so hard, I think, because it's clear that Feyre wants to hold on to that version of him, even if most of her life since then has been about protecting everyone else. This is Feyre at her softest, and she almost doesn't know how to sit with that.
No. I mean, this is the first glimpse we get of her, not like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we get another quiet little shift as Alice comes into the room. And for the first time, the energy isn't hostile or mysterious. It's borderline warm.
What?
Like I said, my heart in these moments, we feel it. I mean, the way Alice looks at Feyre isn't just curiosity, it's empathy. Which may be the first time anyone's looked at Feyre that way, knowing her family. Like, Alice starts helping her, offering her clothes, giving her food, starts treating her like, well, a person. I mean, she asks her, quote, "You don't look so good." Brutal honesty, sure, but also in the kind of way like a big sister or a bestie would talk to you when you're clearly not okay. Mm-hmm. It's a tiny step, but it's important because up until now, Feyre's only had herself. This moment gives us the beginning of what might be, dare I say, trust, an ally, or a potential alliance.
And Alice doesn't pry, she doesn't push, but she sees Feyre, like really sees her in that low-key Feyre, like, here's a brush. You look like you've been raised by wolves, but like, I'm not going to say that out loud.
What are we thinking about Alice? New Fae bestie, secret spy, or is she just a magical housekeeper who low-key runs the spring court? I kind of want her to adopt Feyre, or at least like braid her hair and tell her to stop emotionally repressing everything.
I kind of want Alice to adopt me, so...
It was also really interesting that Alice refers to Tamlin as a master. I hated that.
Yeah.
But it definitely lays the groundwork for things later on and his overall personality and demeanor, I would say.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, everyone must submit. Ugh. Summary of this chapter: Feyre's trying not to die, Tamlin can shapeshift and is trying to act chill, and plot twist, he's cursed to wear masquerade masks at all times, which honestly, vibes. Fashion forward and commitment avoidant, my type. And Lucian is the meat girl bestie of this weird court, my type. Next step, dinner. But who's eating who? All right, babe, it's time for one of our favorite parts of the episode, hot takes, theories, and thirsts, where we shamelessly spiral about what actually happened, what we think is happening, and who we're low-key or high-key obsessed with.
This is where logic gets a little loose, attraction gets a little unhinged, and when we try to act like we would totally make a bargain with a mysterious high-fae male just to get some answers and maybe a smirk or two.
Exactly. Expect chaotic theories, spicy predictions, and about 14 different ways we justify morally great behavior. Because if he's got wings, a tragic backstory, and calls you favorite darling, we're done for.
Listen, we know it's wrong. We just don't care.
No, we don't. Was there a thirsty moment in these chapters for you?
I feel like no. At this point, the only mention of sex or romance is Isaac Hale. Yes, Tamban is described as being very handsome, so is Lucian. But there isn't at this point tension, except for the truly unenjoyable kind. So for me, it's a no.
We're not feeling the sexual tension just yet.
No.
So I think as far as theories go, you know, we already know what happens in the book, but I think it's interesting now we can kind of cross back and like double check like those few things you mentioned earlier about the night sky, the stars, the darkness. I think we need like a darkness night reference check.
Yes,
moving
absolutely.
forward.
We'll have like a whiteboard up here, and like
Yes.
every time, like tick, 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 tick.
Yes. Okay. We agree. So we're cutting this section a little bit short today because, well, nothing sexy happened. So we don't have anything to talk about. In conclusion, Feyre might be stuck in a magical mansion with two hot fae, but let's be real. She's surviving on instinct, adrenaline, and possibly that there's a maybe slightly more emotionally available shadow daddy out there. RHYSAND.
If this is the setup, we're in for a lot of morally gray fae, questionably consensual quests, and complicated feelings about men with wings.
We want to hear from you as we continue to build this little corner of our world and fall in love as we dive into fantastical worlds, fabulous folklore, and the fine fae males and men. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok and subscribe on YouTube to A Court of Books and Babes Pod. And please take 5 minutes to rate and review our podcast and share it with all the babes in your life. Until next time, stay bookish, babes.